Quadra kill.
Oh, bro, I'm insane. If you want to get player of the match, then keep watching, because I got the top 20 tips to help you make sick plays like these. I'm not going to make this. Oh, that was beautiful timing. Oh, that was insane.
You won't stop me.
We did. I think we did, mate. Smoke is not just a healer, she can be a ruthless killer. If you use the Q from height, you can actually push people off and kill them. It can zone people, and you can get an advantage on them after they've just taken fall damage, or you can easily just push them straight off. It even works on Immortals, although in this instance they didn't die, they took severe fall damage. Or, you know, if you don't have a smoke around, you can simply let people outplay themselves. No smoke needed.
Nothing but dust.
So there's different Immortals for different situations. You would want to use Martyr in a brawling situation. You would use Hoet when your team needs help with fast heals or shields. You'd use Raven when you want to shoot from afar and the enemies at a distance, and you can put big damage from range. And you would use Dark Gale when you wanted to fight a large group of enemies that are in a choke point. So you can use the Trident and charge at them and impale them, hopefully. You got to be very careful. Sometimes even just using your Immortal, you could just get blown up if you're on your own, so make sure you're playing with your team as well. And lastly, if you're low health in a brawling situation, then you can just use your Immortal to get full health back and keep it in the fight. But don't do what this guy did and pick the wrong Immortal for the wrong situation. When playing Warhammer, holding down your hammer blow until it has 2 full charges, and then using your shift key to dive in can catch people really off guard.
You are the avatar of death.
While in the air, you take 50% more damage, so you should try and get your enemies in the air as often as possible using Blade's Q, Smoke's Q, or the Thick Boy Guardian charge. Oh, that was insane. I know it sounds self-explanatory, but use the cannon anytime you can. The fixed cannon, the dragon bombs cannon, or this rolling cannon. Any cannon. But be careful, because you can be fairly vulnerable. Because while you're aiming down the sight, you can't see people creeping up on you. And everyone wants the cannon user dead. So be careful of that. But it can really change the tide of a battle and help your team out when you can take out 2 or even more, sometimes 5 players out of the battle. It's super helpful. Use it every time you can.
Double kill.
Tip number 6 is about perfectly timing your blocks and parries for a faster retaliate. Now, you can use the parry, of course, in Spike's abilities, but if you are able to block an attack and block it perfectly, that the shield on your screen turns orange, you'll be able to hold down your right click and left click at the same time much faster and retaliate much faster than if you get the white shield block or no block at all. So if you're having trouble getting a swing in before the enemy, this is why. So all weapons have a different range. A spear has a long range like this and can zone people out. And Warhammer is quite short, Blade is longer than a Warhammer, and Guardian and Hush are quite short as well. So know your enemy and know your range abilities. As you see in this example, able to zone out the Warhammer because as he approaches me, he can't hit me and I can hit him. Same with Blade. I have a longer range. I was able to kill them both. So know what you can do, know what your enemy can do. If you have a smoke on your team, play with them and protect them. They will turn your fight for you. It's very hard to 1v1 somebody who's getting constant heals from a smoke. And even when you're getting knocked up by their Q, it makes it very challenging. But playing as a team, you also get additional perks. So always fight with the smoke and protect the smoke in your team. Team play is extremely important. So don't run in trying to be a hero. It never pays off. I mean, maybe once, maybe never, but sometimes you might pull off the impossible, but usually you result in death, or your team at a major disadvantage because you're dead. So always play as a team. Think smart about it, not just throwing your life away. So when chasing someone and trying to catch up, if you run behind them, you'll start to see this like vortex appearance that comes around the screen. It means that you're running faster because you're in a chase mode, and using your mouse wheel to scroll will then use the heavy attack, which works really well because it lunges. When you block an attack, you take trauma damage, which turns out to be grey health at the bottom of your screen. After not taking damage for a little while, it regens quite fast. You'll get trauma damage down to 1 HP, which means you'll be a one-shot if someone hits you next. You also regenerate health even without taking trauma damage when you're low HP, but it's much, much slower. And it takes a lot more time to activate, as you'll see in the clip in a few seconds.
Where's the squad?
So the blister installation, you can actually block their fire, and they have a very slow reload rate. So block as you approach, and then run at them when they reload. And sorry, I don't have any footage of this one.
What? I hit a fucking wall.
Sometimes using the environment can be invaluable to block attacks, such as when you need to run and hide because you failed a block sequence, or when you're getting ganged up on. Now, using perks is obviously not a tip, but using some of the perks is a necessity, like Warhammer's wind-up duration, and also some perks that give you team playability, so you can actually significantly increase your chances of survival, and some other team play tactics if using team-based perks. When you spawn into a match, and even during a match, you can change your character. You can see your team's composition. Don't be afraid to change it up if your team needs something different. If you can avoid it, don't fight an Immortal, especially a Martyr. If you and your team has an Immortal, then definitely fight with them. It's easy to run away because they're on a timer, and when the timer runs out, they're just a normal player again. It's always easier to fight an enemy who's preoccupied, and to help your team out. If you see somebody having a scrap, join in, attack them from behind and kill them easily. It's easy wins. You know how hard it is to be 2v1 yourself, so make it work against the enemy.
That was a bad...
This game's not all about slaughter. If you want to win rounds, you have to capture the footholds. Capture the footholds and help your team gain the points. So as you play your round, you gain relics, which is the V key in the bottom right corner of your screen. You can place a scarecrow, which enables you and your team to respawn in an advantageous location. If you learned something from this guide, consider giving it a big thumbs up, and maybe subscribe to the channel. Maybe.